Hoodlums in Calabar have destroyed valuables and equipment worth millions of naira at the office of the Department of Petroleum Resources, the warehouse in the Ministry of Works, the Commercial Transport Regulatory Agency, Value Mart Supermarket, and the Cross River Newspaper Corporation, known as Chronicle. Now, the former governor of Akwa Ibom State and chairman, Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Air Commodore Idongesit Nkanga, joins us now to discuss this. Good to have you join us at this hour. How do you explain all this looting and damage to Calabar, the seat of Cross River State?
Well, it's rather unfortunate. We witnessed that even last night here in Uyo, and I was surprised when I heard that in Calabar too. It's actually unfortunate, and we hope that it's just a one-off thing, because there is absolutely no reason for that to happen here. We've been peace-loving people, and as much as we sympathize with the way things are going, because it is a justified outing that the youth had, that it was hijacked, and then later the thing went into looting. It's rather very, very unfortunate.
Unfortunate indeed. Now, what were your major cues on the president's speech recently on the protests and hoodlum attacks?
Well, actually, the president's speech, to be very honest, I didn't get much out of it. I was expecting it to come out and assuage the feelings of the youth who had been demonstrating. That I'm not sure. I'm not sure that speech has assuaged their feelings. And not only that, there were areas that I hope the president should have touched on, like the people that actually died at Lekki. You see, as human beings, every death of everybody diminishes the one that is living. So I don't know why that speech came out and nothing was said about that. Granted, it was commiserated with the security forces, the police, that is fine. But the people who also died at Lekki, we should not have ignored that. We should not have this. Those are our children. And so to that extent, I don't think much came out of that. I don't think they're making use of that speech as far as because we heard things that were already the public domain.
And Air Commodore, during the speech, do you agree that the swiftness or the promptness with which the federal government acted was misconstrued as a sign of weakness?
No, I don't think so. If something is wrong, and you also admit and you know it is wrong, you don't delay it so that somebody will feel that you are not weak. In fact, prompt action shows that you are courageous. It doesn't show weakness at all. So I don't know how that could have been interpreted to be weakness. I believe, as a matter of fact, if the handlers of the president and the president himself, if they had listened to the cries of many people, this issue was not something that was not expected. If they had listened to what was the advice of the larger society, perhaps this could have been averted, but that was not done. And now it happened. Yes, the president was prompt to say that that SARS is no more, replaced with the SWAT. That, in fact, angered people because they didn't think that it was even the best way to go about it was just changing uniform. And then they continue. There are very many fundamental things. I think at this point, I would wish to appeal to everybody, appeal to our elders, appeal to our politicians, appeal to the women, the clergymen, and the youth, that whatever we do goes beyond the boundaries of this country. We are the largest concentration of black people in the world. If we fail here, that's the black world, the black race that has failed. So I think we should do things more maturely. We should have gone beyond this level as at this time, but we are still there. And it's rather unfortunate. It wasn't weakness that there was reaction at the time it did.
Indeed, Air Commodore Nkanga. Now, Nigeria is not short of intelligence gathering, especially using civil and security assets, as it were. Why was this wanton destruction allowed to happen, even if it's for a few days, within the country's borders?
Well, why it was allowed, I don't know. But I believe that we have not been totally honest with Nigerians. We've not been totally honest, and that is what bothers me. that the destruction, like was said, the whole thing was hijacked by hoodlums, and then they started destruction and all that. We should have acted, because it was only SARS that was disbanded. It wasn't the entire police force. So what were the other security agencies doing? As a matter of fact, I expected that the people who were demonstrating should have been given enough security for them to do what they wanted, not keep it open as it were. And then somebody went there and started killing those children. And then, so it was poorly handled, very poorly handled, or it wasn't even handled at all.
Very poorly handled indeed. Well, we've seen the fallout from the protest, the response by the federal government, the lack of response or taking charge by the security operatives. So let me ask you, is this administration committed to the well-being and welfare of its citizens?
It's not, I think it's a constitutional requirement that they must look after the welfare of its citizens. If you are not prepared to do that, then don't take that job. With what has happened, I'm not sure the administration has performed well in this aspect. The welfare of, even if it's one person that died, because to start with, the demonstration, those young people that demonstrated said things are not going on well. They cannot guarantee a future for themselves. Please let us do something about it. That is very legitimate. If everything was all right, they probably wouldn't have done that, but they did that. And now the handling of it itself, the thing resulted in death all around the world. All around the world. That is what people are saying. I know even you, if you go out now and they ask you, let's say to Europe, America, well, where are you from? You say Nigeria. They will look back at you, and what will reflect in their mind is what they have just seen. And I won't be surprised if they start saying those are the people that killed our youth. It's not it's a very sad commentary on us as a people.
Indeed, Air Commodore. Now, let's take a look at some specifics here. The controversy over the role soldiers played resulting in fatalities among peaceful protesters, especially at Lekki toll gate. Despite their denial, should they have been deployed in the first place, despite the calm nature of the protest? Governor Sanwo-Olu says the situation was beyond his control at that time.
Well, I believe the governor should be asked to go further into saying that it was beyond his control. To start with, I don't think the deployment of soldiers in the street, that is police duty. There's nothing there that the police wouldn't have handled if they were doing their job right. So for the military to have gone in there is wrong in the first instance. Besides, the procedure for getting the military involved is more than what we just saw. You cannot just send the military around. Let us be very frank here. No soldier will just leave his barracks with gun and go and start shooting without having been told to do so. These things take, there's a procedure for it. There is a process. Was that process followed? How did they even get in there? It is a purely police job. So for them to have been there in the first instance is wrong. But having done that, what we should ask now, so that we don't get into this kind of situation again, is who actually ordered them to go? Who actually ordered them to shoot? Because it's completely out of place that should have even happened. That question has not been answered by government, and government is the one that could answer it. If they were not from Nigerian army, then where did they come from? Did they just come from the skies? If they're from Nigerian army, who asked them to do so? By now, I expect that some heads should have been rolling. Some people would have, but nobody in position has been asked anything. Nobody has said anything about them. Everybody keeps denying. It's a very shameful thing. Very, very.
Well, in Lagos State,
the soldiers should not have been there.
Indeed. But the Lagos State government has said that investigations will be ongoing, and he has set up a panel of inquiry. So let's move on now. With the president's speech in his reaction to the protest, a lot of people, you have also alluded to the fact that it sort of fell short of expectation. So the question is the president disconnected from the electorates who put him into office?
I hope he's not. Because if the president is disconnected from the electorate, it means we don't have a government and we don't have a country. So I want to believe that he's not. I want to believe that it was the judgment. Maybe that judgment was poor judgment. But if that is not the case, I think it is then that we've not been able to speak to the people. We've not been courageous enough to speak to the people. By this time, I would have actually expected somebody to say, yes, I ordered these troops to go in. Yes, I ordered this. But nobody has done that. Who if somebody ordered, how come the person doesn't have the courage to say he did?
Retired Air Commodore Idongesit Nkanga, former governor of Cross River State, would like to thank you for your input on these stories. Thank you for joining us. Good to have you.